First time I've ever done that intro with the AEIOU in front of me. Good morning, happy hump day, and welcome to the State of My Being address. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how this works, since day 400, I decided to make it a tradition that every 100 days, I would dedicate a video to do several things. Foremost, to elaborate how I'm feeling right now. Because yes, I've said in plenty of videos that I'm excited for something, or maybe I'm sad about something, nervous, whatever have you. But I never really take the time to elaborate on that. And that's what this video is for. It's also to commemorate the fact that we just went through another 100 days. Because when I decided to do this back then, it occurred to me that, I do need to dedicate something involving elaborating on my feelings. But I have to be very careful about how often I do that. Because if I were to do it, say, once a year, I could potentially forget to do it. But any sooner, it could be repetitive. So I figured every 100 days, it's definitely a long time, but not too long. And it really does prove that, to be perfectly honest, 50 days a lot would happen then. But 100 felt more significant. It felt more right, and plus, it really is cool to type the day number and I put a bunch of zeros in it. I don't know, it just does. So, without further ado, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Foremost, my low is I couldn't really stay with my folks very long yesterday because we really got a lot of snow. Like a lot of snow. I mean, the roads aren't that bad, but there were a lot of 2-hour delays and even some cancellations too. So that happened. But my high was I got to see my nephews yesterday. Yeah, my mom, I visited my folks' place and my mom was watching my nephews and I got to play with them for a little bit. It was nice. Also, I got to see Bert Kreischer's stand-up special Razzle Dazzle, which is on Netflix right now. Seriously, I would highly recommend you check that out. It was funny. And obviously my act of kindness. Actually, I had several acts of kindness, including watching my nephews. One of which being that after my mom left, I was able to take care of a couple things. Specifically that garbage day would be today, so I took her garbage cans out. And I also emptied her dishwasher. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. I don't know why, but I'm going to bed like super late recently. So if you see me trying to fight back yawns, forgive me. But honestly, considering that yesterday was the first time I ever filled out a bracket on camera, and everything else that happened, it was not in any way at all a bad way to end this set of 100 days. Which is great. Although a part of me is, keep in mind, today is also March 15th. So I must say, beware the Ides of March. For those of you who don't know, the Ides of March, or March 15th, which is today, was the day that Julius Caesar was betrayed and then assassinated. In fact, a fortune teller walked up to him on this day and said, beware the Ides of March. And Julius Caesar didn't really believe any of that, so... So much for trying to fight back yawns. Julius Caesar didn't believe in the fortune teller, and so he got killed. Et tu, Brute? Yes, I had to read Julius Caesar in high school. Again, I've mentioned this before, but I've read a lot of Shakespeare in high school. Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet, of course, Othello, Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream. We never read Macbeth, but I'm sorry in the sense that, with the exception of Midsummer Night's Dream, I read like pretty much all of his tragedies. Oh boy. How has no one ever tried to guess that Shakespeare was a troubled writer, considering some of his most famous works are also his most tragic? Oh well. That had to have been the curse of the bard, right? That's what Shakespeare is known. He was known as the bard. Anyway, this is the last State of My Being address before I reach day 2000. Can you believe that? 2,000 days is within reach. Today being 1900, of course. And honestly, I barely know where to begin with the past 100 days. I mean, right out of the gate, or almost right out of the gate, I had to do the Why I'm Still Here series. For those of you who don't know, the Why I'm Still Here series is a group of videos that I do around the holiday season, in which I talk about what made me contemplate suicide and what got me out of it. And maybe it was because I've done it enough times where, I'm used to it. But I didn't really find myself crying as much as I usually do. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the impact of what I'm trying to say. I mean, I was staring into the abyss, and I got out of there. You know, that's more than enough of, inspiration for those who are probably struggling for some sort of reprieve, or, maybe they are where I was. I don't know. But, we pretty much had all of December. Then we have, all this, and with December comes, Christmas and New Year's, which, Christmas, New Year's, and my birthday. So yeah, we celebrated all that, at the very end of, 2022. And I made it no secret that, the first 2/3 of 2022 were not good for me. And it was only up until the 2 weddings I went to where, those 2 weddings I went to legitimately saved it. And for the most part, the way 2022 ended really couldn't have gone any better. So, I would say 2022 started off as like a whimper, and it ended Not with a bang, but actually, what is the medium between a bang and a whimper? Actually, it'd probably be a little more than what the middle is. It ended comfortably. I'll say that. 2022 ended comfortably for me. And maybe I was just lucky, and maybe a lot of other people are lucky too, but normally around this time of year, it can be really depressing. I mean, the holiday season's over. You know, if you're on vacation, you pretty much gotta go back to the old grind. It's cold out. You know, there's probably snow everywhere. You know, basically nothing but seasonal depression. Which is someone who suffers from depression myself, I know, I kind of have an idea of what that is. Personally, though, I only really ever got seasonal depression. I didn't learn what seasonal depression was until I was like 30. But whenever I did feel seasonal depression growing up, it was because we were no longer going to Cuba Lake. And it's going to be a little while before we go back to Cuba Lake again. So, at the moment, I'm not entirely missing Cuba Lake per se. Again, I'm elaborating on my feelings right now. Because we have about a good 2.5 months before the weather allows us to open up our cottage again. So I am excited for that. But I know that, you know, good things come to those who wait. So I'm patiently, but also very excited about what the next 100 days will bring, which will include opening up Cuba Lake again. But also, I mean, pretty much right out of the gate, one of my all-time favorite holidays, St. Patrick's Day, is literally the day after tomorrow. That's already exciting for me. And speaking of holidays, you know, let's be real here. The only real major holidays that we've had so far this year were New Year's Day and Valentine's Day, which is a day I always do look forward to do. I mean, day 45, way back when, was the first major holiday video, the first video I did on a major holiday. It was also the start of Ash Wednesday as well that year. So it was also the first day of Lent. And, you know, I always say that I've been single pretty much my entire life, but I find love all around me. Like, I see others in love, you know, something about, like, togetherness, you know, that it comforts me on a day when, by all accounts, I should feel left out, I guess. You would think I would feel left out, but I don't. Plus, considering I did nothing but spend all of 22 letting heartbreak dictate how I feel, with the exception of that last third, I'm definitely over that part, for sure. I mean, only one time this year have I ever truly felt heartbroken. But that was a freak anomaly, to be sure. I mean, I literally had a dream while I was asleep where I told this person that I liked for so long, she eventually, this person wanted to get engaged and she's getting married this year. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know why I felt heartbroken. Like, I literally had a dream where I told her how I feel. And I felt sad that the dream wasn't real. I just made that rhyme. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. my point is, like, who would ever expect that? Who would ever think that would ever happen? You know what I mean? Who would ever think that they'd ever have a dream like that happen to them? Again, when I say freak anomaly, I mean freak anomaly, to be sure. But honestly, that was probably the only legit hiccup I've had. I mean, so many great things have been happening this calendar year. I mean, we're very much, I mean, the Egghead Island arc in One Piece has been fantastic, which you would think after Wano nothing could be good, but I tell you what, it's good. I went to a happy hour in early January. I went to Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever was great. It was the most fun I had in forever. It's probably the most alcohol I've consumed in my life too. But semantics. Saturdays have been spent in the evenings going to dinner with my nephews, much like in the way that my brother and I did growing up. Going out to dinner after church on Saturdays. I did get sick though. That happened. You know, laryngitis, fevers and chills and sniffles. Oh my! Had to take a steroid and an antibiotic for it. But I'm all better now. Let's see what else happened. America's Got Talent All-Stars started and ended. That happened. And now, the Masked Singer's gonna be on tonight. That's exciting. And you know what? That reminds me. What's coming up in the next 100 days? Well, outside of the fact that we're finishing the 9th season of The Masked Singer long before the next day might being addressed, we have, including but not limited to, St. Patrick's Day, the first day of spring, Easter, Mother's Day, Memorial Day, which will include opening up Cuca Lake, Father's Day. I mean, there's a lot going on. And actually, there's a couple birthdays. Well, actually, to my knowledge, the only birthday I have that comes to mind is my brother's birthday on April 13th. Which, fun fact, he turned 13 on Friday the 13th. Freaky, huh? So, I guess not much is happening in the birthday department, but, we're getting, it's something. Although, it's funny, I just mentioned how I'm over letting heartbreak dictate how I feel. That part I'm okay with. But, I just mentioned this the other day. Ever since my grandfather, after I left my family's house, when we celebrated my grandfather's birthday on Sunday, that's when, the finality of things started to sink in. My grandfather's 89 years old. Hold on. I got the wooden thing right there. I know he's not going to live forever. I've already lost one grandparent. And I don't think anyone would ever be ready to lose another one. Especially after I made the big deal about how many years ago, it was actually Christmas Eve, I was taking a bath, and I had a fever-induced seizure, and I was taken to the hospital, and that night I was at the hospital, my grandfather stayed the whole night. And it's so freaky not in these last 100 days, but the previous 100 days before that, which did include both of the weddings I went to, my grandfather actually was in major medical trouble. He basically has a pacemaker now, which, you know, if something goes wrong then, there's no birthday to celebrate. And look, I know someday it's going to happen. In fact, a day is going to come where I will have lived longer than the people who I've known for a long time, say my grandparents, even my own parents. You know, I'll have lived longer than I knew then. I know that's going to happen someday. I don't know how I could ever hope to be ready for that. But I do know that hopefully by then, I'll definitely have more than just family by my side. Oh, technically I will have family. It'll just be, you know, meeting someone. Because, look, I know I mentioned how while I don't necessarily mind being single, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing someone. Sure. You know, not that I'm asking, you know, for much. I mean, she'd be beautiful in my eyes, to be sure. Because, you know, beauty can be subjective, and everyone is, people come in all different shapes and sizes. Everyone's beautiful in their own right. I'm not going to dispute that. And, you know, whoever she is, you know, I don't know if she's the most beautiful thing in the world, because that'll be up for me to decide. Because, you know, if you care about someone, how they look isn't really the issue. Look at me getting all sappy, huh? Look at me getting all sappy, huh? Wow. I can't even... My tongue is a bit dry. Sorry. And, you know I need to make some changes myself, to be sure. I mean, I have been trying to go out more and do things. Problem is, you know, the person who I kind of want to see is never any of the events I've ever been to so far this year. But I think it has to do with the fact, like, I mean, I went to a happy hour that was all the way in Corning, and I did cabin fever, which involved going from place to place on Market Street, having tastings from all over the place, walking outside in the cold. Basically, I'm pretty sure the time of year, and by extension the weather regarding the time of year, has been a factor. And again, springtime is coming up, so we're gonna be having that. There's gonna be more opportunities to go out and do things. But whether something goes good or bad, I do know that I'm gonna have family that's always there. I mean, I see my folks pretty much every day, so I don't think I'll ever need to worry about, you know, being alone in that regard. And again, I know someday my parents are going to be gone too. And it's going to hurt. It's really going to hurt. But I do know this. I am stuck with my brother for the next probably 30 years after. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, years ago my brother and I had a conversation about this sort of thing. I've never forgotten it. And it actually is kind of fitting I'm talking about him now, considering his birthday is going to be in less than a month from today. Which I can't wait to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, yeah, Easter and, you know, and my brother's birthday. And there's also a very special relative in my family who's going to be turning 80 years old the weekend of April 15th. All I know is that there's going to be a party. I have no idea what the party is going to entail. I mean, I'm hoping we kind of go out and do something nice. That'd be cool. I mean, I don't know what we do, but we got time. Yeah, actually, the birthday that we're celebrating is going to be a month from today. So, yeah, we got a month to decide. We also have a month to figure out what we're doing for Easter because we always go out for brunch. But at the moment, I have no idea what we're doing. Which I do hope I hope we go out for brunch. I really do. I mean, if there's one thing I really did enjoy last year, in spite of like that first 2/3 of letting heartbreak dictate how I feel. One thing that helped me kind of get through that were like all those major events, like my nephew's baptisms, going out for Easter, just like having an opportunity to just dress up nice, suit, tie, the whole shebang. And I'm really looking forward to being able to do that this year. I hope I get to do this. I hope I get to do it soon. So, hopefully Easter. Other than that, I dare say it was a pretty solid 100 days before. And I get the feeling these next 100 days should be pretty great too. I can't believe we're almost at day 2000. I'm stunned. All this time. I mean, if you've been with me for this long, thank you. If you want to see more, I mean, I do this every day, so I'm clearly not going anywhere. If, for whatever reason, you don't want to watch me anymore, I'm not going to say you're wrong for doing so. I hope you live a nice and happy life. Although, man, just thinking about day 2000 right now, like on day 1000, I had the luxury of that being on a Saturday and being up at Cuca Lake in order to do it. I know that day 2000 is going to be a Friday, and therefore I'm not really going to have the luxury of being up at Cuca Lake like I was. Not to mention that video was like almost 2 hours altogether, just going over everything that happened in 1,000 days. How the heck am I going to top that? Huh? I've got 100 days to figure it out. Might as well get started. But if there is one thing I can definitely say that's been great for me so far this year, and during these last 100 days in general, it's so far I've done what I've set out to do, in the sense that, don't try and make this my year. Make it a good year, just don't make it about me. And for the most part, I've been doing pretty great with that. And it's showing. Not many bad things have happened so far this year. Which you would think it'd be easy for me to say if I just keep it up for the whole year, everything's gonna be great. But I know that, listen, life is not perfect. But that's okay. Because it's not supposed to be. To not have a perfect life would be perfect. That just sounded profound there. I mean, I suppose I could probably end this on some sort of, happy quote or whatever. Problem is, for life, I can't really think of anything. wow. I mean, I've done a Save My Meeting address without doing a quote before, to be sure, but I get the feeling this is the last one before day 2000. So, I have no idea. Okay, I gotta think of something. Hold on. Well, I suppose I could do my favorite quote from the God of War games. I mean, in some ways, saying this quote would be appropriate because, you know, you really do hope that everything works out like you want to. Or maybe you're in a bad situation and you have nothing going for you. Pretty much like how it was all of last year. But hope is what makes us strong. It's why we are here. And it's what we fight for when everything else is lost. That sounded really good. I hope y'all like this video, and if you did, like and subscribe to my YouTube. You know, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say, I hope y'all like this video. And if you did, don't worry. I'll be coming back for more. As always, whether it was day 1 or day 1900, I will always be humbled that I did this for all of you to enjoy. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. And if you ever need to talk to anyone, please do so. You'd be surprised how many people will be there to help you. You'll be even more surprised how many people are willing to listen. I will. So, have a nice day. Make good choices. And as you know, I gotta represent 607 all day, baby.